So Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz are facing off in the second round of the Madrid Open. Now, Nadal has had some good results this year, most notably in Barcelona. He beat Tsitsipas in the final to win it, so that was a good result, especially in his hometown. But he's also had some signs that were worrying. He lost to Rublev in 3 sets in Monte Carlo. In Australia, he lost to Tsitsipas, so he's had some worrying signs. He hasn't played a whole lot this year. He's only played 3 tournaments. He Two of them have been on the clay courts, but he looks like he's somewhere back to approaching his best, especially against Tsitsipas in that final of Barcelona. And now he gets to play Alcaraz, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can come up with, if he can slightly maybe improve his results here. And now Alcaraz came through it was a tough opponent he came through. He came through Manarino. He beat him in straight to 6-4, 6-0, which was a great result for him. And we know that Manarino isn't really so good on clay, but still, Manarino can be tough to break down with his ground strokes. So it was good for Alcaraz that he was able to get a win over him. And now it's actually interesting because his birthday is actually tomorrow at the time of writing. And now he actually gets to play Rafa on his birthday, which is a great present for him. Will be a great learning experience. Now they've never met, so they have a 0-0 head-to-head. So my prediction here, I think it's gonna be Nadal and straight set. I think that Alcaraz is a great up-and-coming prospect, but he's just not there yet. I don't think he's there to beat Rafa yet. I don't think he can do it right yet. So I'm gonna pick Nadal to win this in straight sets. I think that Alcaraz will turn on for a couple of moments, but it's gonna be mostly smooth sailing for Rafa because he's just a level higher than Alcaraz at the moment. So Rafa and straight is my prediction. So Alexei Popin and Yannick Sinner, they're facing off in the second round of the Madrid Open. Now Popin this year has been in good form. He won a title in Singapore, beating Bublik in the final. But on the clay courts, he hasn't been at his best because he's lost. He did do well on the qualities of Monte Carlo. He managed to come through. He lost to Pui in 3 sets, but he managed to come through it. And in Serbia, he managed to also win a match against Cerundolo, who is a good clay court specialist. But I think he saved a couple match points, but he lost to Major in straight sets. And in Munich, he lost to Melman. And in this event, to be honest, he had to qualify, and he did beat some good players along the way in the qualifying. He beat Coria in 3 sets. He was the younger brother of Guillermo Coria, who of course reached the Roland Garros final 2004. And Coria is a good clay courter, so an impressive win for him. And he did win his first round match today, beat Juan Struff in the straight set 6-3, 7-6, who had just made a final back in Munich just like a couple of days ago. So good win for Poprin. But we do know that his game isn't really so suited to the clay. You know, he hits flatter, so his game is more suited to hard courts and grass than it is to clay because he does hit a flatter ball. So translating his game to clay has been a little bit of a challenge, but he's managed to have some good clay court wins too. So he, needless to say that, you know, he is trying to get better on the surface. Now Sinner didn't really play a full match earlier, but he was leading Pella by a set, and they were tied 4-all in the second set when Pella had to retire. So Sinner is looking good this year as he reached the final of Miami, and he was able to reach the semis of. So Albert Ramos Vinolas and Federico Delbonis, they're facing off in the second round of the Madrid Open. Now Ramos Vinolas he's having a good year this year. He recently won the Estoril Open in Portugal. He beat Nori in the third set tiebreak in the final. So he's having a pretty good year this year. He's had some consistent semi-final and final appearances in events. and he's looking like he's getting better because last year he wasn't in such great form, and now he's looking more consistent, and he's looking like he's having some good appearance, some good semifinal and final appearances at event, which is a good sign to see. And earlier against Fritz, it was a little bit of a roller coaster match, but he managed to overcome the American in 3 closely contested sets. And now he plays Delbonis, who scored an upset win. So Delbonis had to come through the qualies, and he played Carreño Busta, and he managed to use his mental strength because he was down in that second set and down in the third, but he managed to come back. He was determined, and he used his determination and his grit to win the match in 3. And he did lead the head-to-head, but still people were expecting Carreño Busta to win because Carreño Busta looked better at the stage of his career. He looked like he was playing better. He was in good form, so people expected that he would lose, but Delbonis proved him wrong, and he managed to win. So that was a good win for Delbonis there. And now he plays Ramos Vinolas, who he'll be confident of beating because he may be a little tired. He may not be himself. You know, he had to come through a roller coaster match just after the just after the Estoril Open that he played. Now it's the same thing, kind of like with Carreño Busta. Delbonis leads the head-to-head 4-2 against Ramos Vinolas. So they all their meetings have been on clay, and he leads the head-to-head 4-2. But interestingly, they've played a bunch of other matches that were unofficial. So they've actually played 4 unofficial matches. One of them was in qualifying, and Delbonis won it in straight sets. They played on the clay court event, and Ramos Vinolas won that one 6-4, 7-5. That was in 2011 in Germany. In Roland Garros in the qualifying, Ramos Vinolas beat Delbonis 4-6, 6-1, 6-2. That was in 2011 also. And in 2010, in the Rome event, in a Rome clay court event, in an official, like maybe a challenger futures event, Delbonis won that one 4-6, 7-6, 6-2. So Delbonis would actually lead the head-to-head 6-4 if you're counting those unofficial encounters. So my prediction here, I think that just like the Carreño Busta match, I think Delbonis is going to get another win because he has the head-to-head advantage over Ramos Vinolas, and plus Ramos Vinolas will be a little tired from the match he had to play against Fritz and from all the travel he's been doing, especially with the Estoril Open last week. So I'm going to pick Delbonis to win this in a 3-set match like Carreño Busta. So Delbonis in 3 is my pick here. So John Millman and Dan Evans, they're facing off in the second round. They're facing off in the second round of the Madrid Open. Now, Evans came through a blockbuster match against Shardy, and he beat him 7-6, 6-7, 6-2. He didn't take many match points in it like Millman did, but he still came through a blockbuster match. And he also looks like he's adjusted to the clay. At first, we used to think that, hey, Evans can't play on the clay, but now we realize that he can actually play on the clay too. He can play pretty much on any surface because he's good. He can be good on grass, on clay, and on hard court. So it looks like he's now adjusted to any surface, as evident with his semifinal run in Monte Carlo, beating the likes of Novak Djokovic along the way. So Evans has seemed to adjust it, which is a good thing. And now he's a legit threat pretty much on any surface. Now let's go through Millman. Millman had to come through a blockbuster match against Hubert Hurkacz. He had to save a couple match points in that second set topic. He edged though in 3 sets, 5-7, 7-6, 6-3. And Millman, and it's interesting because clay isn't really Millman's best surface, but the clay has actually given Millman kind of a fresh start. He was in really bad form earlier this year. He had lost many matches. He was in one of his worst forms in a while, but he managed to actually turn his form around. The clay seemed to kind of help him get a fresh start. The clay seemed to actually benefit him in a way. So that's some good, encouraging signs there for Melman, because it seems that maybe he's getting some form back, and when he's in form, he can be a threat. Even if he doesn't have the best game to trouble the top players, he can still be a threat. Now, they've met once, and they've never met officially, but in a challenger event, they met, and Evans won that in straight sets, 6-3, 6-3. It wasn't a hard court though, and it was in South Korea back in 2016. So they haven't met in a while. So this is going to be a first meeting in a long time. So my prediction here, I think that it's going to be Evans that wins. I think Evans is getting better in the clay, and I think that Evans has adjusted now. So I'm going to pick Evans to win this match because I think he's the better player than Melman. He's better than Melman for a reason. And he also has the slight head-to-head, the unofficial head-to-head advantage. So I'm going to pick Evans to win this match. I think it's going to be 3 sets because both players are playing decently, but Evans will get it in the end. So Evans in 3 sets.